Hi guys, welcome back to Go Green, our green show here in Colorado. I hope you enjoyed the clips of us out in the community, just showing you what we were up to recently in the past few weeks as a community group and a political group. We'd like to, in the spirit of a informed citizenry, which we are here in Colorado and in the Green Party, we're hopefully looking to continue giving everyone a look at major news events over the past couple of weeks and our green take on them. Yesterday in California, a court ruled that Proposition 8 was unconstitutional. Proposition 8 there in California was a ban on same-sex marriage. And as a Green Party, we have an equality stance, which means that equal rights for everyone, regardless of who they are, sex, gender, race, any of these things. We believe in equality for all people, which I believe is in the Constitution initially. And at least in wording, maybe not necessarily completely in spirit, but something that we can continue to work on, obviously. As a Green and as the Green Party, this ruling is definitely enlightening and very positive, a positive turn in a really negative kind of area that we've had over the past few years. It will obviously be appealed in California probably, and it will end up going probably to the Supreme Court, which it seems like, at least at this point, would go to a point where gay marriage will finally get its day in court as a nation, and that's great. Obviously we believe in equality, and we're hoping that this trend continues. Also, the BP well, the leaking well, was finally fully capped. Also, I guess that was today. They put concrete in there, and they have to drill a few relief wells, which is great. It's great news that it's not leaking into the ocean anymore. The bad news is that NOAA, the group the governmental agency that would be monitoring these things, is actually saying that 75% of the oil is gone magically. It's gone due to the efforts that the administration has put into to cleaning it up. Nobody's talking about the dispersants within those reports, and nobody's talking about the amount of oil that's actually washed up on shore and is now within the sand. Most non-governmental agencies that study that, including actually the EPA, who's actually a governmental agency, but even the EPA, who doesn't always agree with green values, but maybe is closer, is actually saying that there's no way that this is possible, that there's only 25% of this massive oil spill still left. So it's something that the major media won't probably be covering, but over the next few weeks, look for information on the amount of oil that's still in the Gulf and in the sand specifically that's washing up on the beaches. And remember that it's not just us on this earth, that the sea life and the things that live on the beach and within the water, all of those things are being done an injustice by saying these things. By us pandering and saying that it's gone, we basically advocate that we are advocating our responsibility to clean it up. And that's just something we need to think about as a community, as a group, and the Greens are obviously behind capping all oil wells and going into fully renewable energies. Oil is dirty, dirty, and we keep seeing more and more oil spills. This is just one oil rig that blew up and leaked. It's happening all the time. It's something that we need to be aware of, that this isn't just one isolated incident. Yes, it's a huge incident, but it's not the only one, and it's going to happen until we decide that we don't want to use oil anymore. That's something to think about for sure, even as within the green movement, that oil needs to be done. We need to be over that. The primary races here in Colorado will be voted on next week. By the time you see this, we will know who's running for all of our offices, Democrat, Republican, the Greens, and the Libertarians. Libertarians also have a primary, which we'll know. So we'll know everybody who's running. We'll have a full set of agendas. We'll have a full set of who is running, what they're running on, their platforms, and basically what we're looking for to vote. I'd like to remind people that we have Bob Kinsey running for the U.S. Senate here in Colorado. I would look forward to Bob debating against any of the alternative candidates from the bigger parties, Republican or Democrat. If by chance you happen to be looking to the Democrats to be progressive, to be looking to them for some sort of savior, I think that you can look at either of their websites and look at their actual information and not let their campaigns tell you what they're about. And you'll see that Bob Kinsey is actually the only one with real green values, the only one who will get us out of war, who will turn us to renewable energies, who will take away atomic energy. Something to think about, people, that we have these two major parties who are so similar that these primaries are just kind of a afterthought, really. It's all put together already. So when you look at who you're looking at, to vote for, you've already sent in your primary ballot. Remember, you can always, up until 30 days before the actual general election, you can continue to register to vote. Register green, come into the movement, and make this thing grow and show those major parties that you know that you have a choice and that here we are, we're not going to take these corporate parties anymore. And come green, vote green. And the last news story that I really wanted to talk about this week was the WikiLeaks leak that came out last week, actually, here. And about 90,000 classified documents were leaked about the Afghanistan war, war in quotation marks, after Victor's statement earlier. I suppose we should talk about them as occupations and corporate occupations at that. It's really interesting that the administration, specifically the Obama administration, has said that these leaks didn't really give us any new information. They weren't showing us anything we hadn't talked about already. Yet they're trying to, as hard as they can, give us this spiel about how dangerous it is and how many people are in danger because of these leaks. So if it wasn't new information, I think it's important to remember that it wouldn't be on the news, but they're still talking about it. Something did happen. 90,000 classified documents were released talking about what was actually happening in Afghanistan and why we were actually having such a hard time making this happen and winning in Afghanistan when there's no possibility of winning a war against an idea. This word terrorism is an idea. It's a tactic. You can't win against it. It's not something that's winnable. We can change it, but we can't win a war on an idea. It doesn't work that way. And I would like to thank WikiLeaks personally for this service that they're providing. They also released a document about a couple of months ago on a really terrible attack that happened where a journalist was murdered and some civilians. And without WikiLeaks doing this, it may never have come to light. So I think as Greens, we can definitely say that, again, in the spirit of an informed citizenry, we deserve to have the truth and we deserve to have this information. And if it takes whistleblowers, then we need to be in full support of whistleblowers. And this site has given people that opportunity. So again, thank you to WikiLeaks for making that happen. And pay attention, get involved. This is news that's happening for everyone, everywhere. And I'd like to thank you for coming to Green Change, watching Green Change on public access this week. We have lots of information, and I'd love it if you would come and get involved in the Green Party. Check out www.coloradogreenparty.com and www.kinseyforsenate.org. Thanks, guys. Have a good week. I'm going green this time.